All right, let's dive into a story that really gets you thinking. It's about the cold, hard letter of the law versus the powerful, unwritten rules of loyalty and love. We're talking about a trial, a really harsh sentence, and a kind of redemption that you'll never, ever find in a courtroom. And that's really the big question here, isn't it? We're about to see how a legal system can hand down its final absolute verdict, but true justice, and maybe even a sense of peace, well, that's found somewhere else entirely, a place the law just can't touch. So, our story kicks off at a really intense moment. It's a time of absolute crisis for our narrator. The walls are just closing in on him from every single side. At the heart of all this chaos is a man named Magwitch. Now, after a lifetime on the run, he's been caught. The giant wheels of the legal system have started to grind into motion, and his trial is about to begin. And honestly, it is not looking good. The thing is, the case against him, it's brutally simple. The authorities just need to find one person from his old prison ship to identify him, and that's it. And while all this legal machinery is slowly churning, Magwitch is just lying in a prison cell, incredibly sick. He's got broken ribs, a wounded lung. His health is failing, fast. But here's where things get really interesting, because it's not just about the legal stuff. At the exact same time that this huge impersonal threat is looming over Magwitch, our narrator is facing his own personal crisis, one that could totally change his life forever. See, his best friend Herbert is moving away to run a business, and he's thrown our narrator a lifeline. He's offered him a job, and even a shot at becoming a partner down the road. But he has to make a decision, and soon. So you've got this double ticking clock, right? Magwitch's life is on the line, and the narrator's entire future is just hanging in the balance. So of course, this all leads to the big moment, right? The climax of the legal drama, the trial itself. And this trial, it was over in a flash. There was no big, dramatic back and forth, no shocking witness testimony. It was just swift, cold, and efficient. The facts were all that mattered, and well, the facts were pretty undeniable. I mean, it all boiled down to just two simple truths. One, he was a convict who had been exiled from the country, and two, he had come back illegally. That's it. In the eyes of the law, nothing else mattered. Not his character, not his reasons, nothing. So yeah, the verdict came just as fast as the trial. Guilty. And the sentence, death. And this is where you just have to admire Magwitch's character. He's facing his own end, and he stands up and says this. He's basically saying, look, I know I'm already dying. God has already passed that sentence, but I accept yours too. It's just delivered with this quiet, incredible dignity. Okay, so the trial's done, but the story, it's far from over. In fact, it's shifting gears. We're moving away from the public spectacle of the courtroom and into the quiet, intimate space of the prison infirmary, and a very different kind of judgment is about to happen. Even with that death sentence hanging over him, our narrator doesn't turn his back on Magwitch, not for a second. He shows this incredible loyalty, visiting him every single day as he gets weaker, just sitting by his bed and holding his hand. And this goes on for 10 whole days. It becomes their routine, this quiet, steady companionship in the face of death. It's such a huge contrast to the loud final bang of the judge's gavel. And it's in these small moments that you really feel how deep their bond is. Magwitch, even though he's weak, he notices. He sees his friend's devotion. It's such a simple question, but it's loaded with affection. He sees the loyalty. And the narrator's answer, wow. It says everything, doesn't it? He's not just there out of some sense of duty, he cherishes every last second they have together. His loyalty isn't an obligation, it's a choice, and it comes from a place of real love and respect. So as Magwitch gets weaker and weaker, the narrator knows he has one last thing he needs to do. He's holding on to one last piece of the puzzle, a truth that can give Magwitch a final, deep sense of peace that no court ever could. They're at his deathbed. Time is running out, and the prison governor actually lets them have a moment alone. In that quiet moment, the narrator gets ready to give his friend one last, incredible gift. The story of a life Magwitch thought was lost forever. So he leans in and he tells him, gently, step by step, you had a child once, he says, one you loved and lost. He feels Magwitch squeeze his hand. She lived. She's alive right now. She's a lady, and she's beautiful. And then he makes the final connection, the one that ties it all together. And I love her. He reveals that Magwitch's legacy, everything he worked for, it didn't just disappear. It thrived, and it's loved by the very person sitting right there next to him. And that right there, that's the real ending. It's not about a legal pardon from a king or a judge. It's a redemption found in love and loyalty. And Magwitch, with his last bit of strength, he says something that just hits you right in the heart. He points out that the narrator's loyalty was at its strongest, not when things were good, but when they were at their absolute worst. And for Magwitch, that's everything. It's the truest measure of their friendship. And knowing that, knowing his life meant something, he does one last thing. He lifts the narrator's hand to his lips and kisses it. It's a gesture of such deep gratitude and love. And then he just passes away, peacefully. A man condemned by the law, but completely redeemed by a human connection that the law could never understand. Which leaves us with a pretty big question to think about, doesn't it? What really defines a person's worth? Is it the sentence a court hands down? Or is it the loyalty and love that person inspires, even when things are at their darkest? This story seems to suggest that the final verdict on a life isn't delivered by a judge, but it's found in the heart of someone who cared.